So basically what we did in East Herts was we did nothing more than follow the manual. I think that should be something that we should take positive from. The manual works, we just have to follow it. We had the advantage of having a good base to work from in terms of the electorate. So in 2019 we didn't do a lot of campaigning, but we still got a lot of second places. So we had the advantage in East Herts of having an electorate that was kind of willing to kind of take us on board. But it really became about how do we get those second places and convert them into first places. And basically, there's no easy answer to that other than hard work. It's knocking on doors, producing leaflets, delivering leaflets, exactly as the manual tells you you've got to do. But you've just got to do. Most Green parties are working one or two wards. The challenge we had, because we had all these second places, we had to do it simultaneously in 11 wards. Or maybe even more, because 13 was. So that's the only difference of what we did and what everyone else is doing is just the number of wards. And it's got logistical issues about that. So I mean, the key things that we needed to achieve our success was first of all, kind of volunteers with time or activists with time. And obviously, fortunately, Ben was retired, I was retired, and we've got one or two other people with spare time. So that helps enormously. And now that we're councillors, that situation has changed because all of a sudden our time is reduced. It has made it more difficult. But number one thing is time. You need volunteers with time that are going to help. Second thing is money, and we were very fortunate that when Ben and James were elected in 2019, they put in some of their council allowances into the East Herts Green Party account, and that formed the basis of our campaign for 2023. So very much success breeds success, which is why it's important to try and get your first or second councillor, because that gives you a platform to build from. So the target to win book is right. Try and get your first one, and then build it from there. So you got money, you got volunteers with time, and then you've got to find your leafleters, I suppose. We did that a lot through door knocking. So we knocked on a lot of doors over the course of probably a year. Even though our elections were May 2023, we actually started knocking on doors in a serious way in the previous spring. So we were kind of working from April, May 2022, and all the way through. And over the course of 12 months, we knocked on about 4,300 doors across all the wards. So you got activist time, you volunteers, and the other thing as well was that finding other ways to attract volunteers. So, and this is what I think perhaps we did quite well, was the drop-in, which was partly sort of Simon's invention, where basically we just go to a pub, go to a cafe, sit down, advertise it, and let people come to us, because that's the way you find out people that might be interested will come along, and they're the people you need to kind of then get a hook around them and try and encourage them to kind of volunteer and help you along. So it's all there in the target to win manual. And the other thing obviously is the right messaging, which obviously Ben, we're very fortunate in having Ben because he's a writer by profession. So that really helped, and obviously using his skills there and combining it with the lessons we've learned from the Target to Win manual. Also going to campaign school. I went to campaign school in September 2022, and you can obviously learn a lot from that. If anybody gets the opportunity to go to a campaign school, and I'm not sure whether they do the national ones anymore, but certainly the regional ones, if you have got the opportunity, get someone there. But one thing I learned from the campaign school was actually how much you learn from other parties. And even though, as East Herts Green Party, I'm just thinking now about the scale of success event. Even though we've been successful, you still, when you talk to other Green parties, you still learn things. Every party does slightly different things, and some people do it better than others. And if we can kind of pool our expertise, there'll be groups here that are doing fantastic things who haven't got any councillors. That groups like East Herts with 17 district councillors could learn. So I think the idea of getting together more and having sessions where we can learn from each other is really good. It's good fun too. I don't want to talk for too much longer, but what I was going to do is give you an opportunity to ask questions, because I know when I did a talk at the national conference, which is great, by the way. If you haven't been to national conference, go. It's really good fun. And actually, at the end of my little talk, I got lots of questions. So I thought I'd spend a bit more time here just answering questions if anybody's got a specific they'd like to ask about how we went from 2 to 19. Every person that comes to one of the drop-ins could be someone who's going to turn out to be really important. And I think the first time I ever met Sue was at a drop-in. Sue is now one of our councillors on district council. So so you just never know what's going to happen. So people's unknown. In May 2023, there was one particular issue which is really about development, and we've got East Herts as market towns, I suppose you've got similar in your areas. Basically, the edge of these market towns, Herts Green fields, and there's lots of proposed developments going on, new housing to meet housing targets, and essentially, sort of people don't want that, and I suppose they look to us as perhaps the party that will try and protect those green spaces for them. So perhaps that's probably the single biggest issue in East Herts. We obviously had a fairly kind of strong core group. I suspect when I joined the core group, it was probably about 15 people, and most of those stood as candidates, just because you would feel guilty if you didn't. I have no ambitions to be a candidate. I remember the first time I met a lot of these people was actually at the post-2021, after the 2021 county elections, when Ben got elected and we had a celebration party. And I'd been just a leafleter in that election. And I went on to that party, and someone said to me, "Do you want to be a councillor?" No, it's the last thing in the world I wanted to do, was a councillor. But you kind of get drawn into it, don't you? You get involved, and then you realise you need candidates, and then you think, well, I'm retired and I can't ask people to be candidates and not stand myself, because that would be hypocritical. So you just got to you use the guilt card. we need candidates, because that is one of the biggest problems, and we're going to have the same issue at county, I suspect, because county is an even more difficult job to do, isn't it? It's a good point. I like to think of there's a kind of a Goldilocks zone, isn't there? The people that are just coming to the end of their working life. You want to grab them just before they're retired, because then, as soon as they retire, they've already got something to go straight into. Because once they retire, they might get stuck into something else, and that'll take their time away. So, just when you find someone that's going to retire in 6 months to 12 months, that's the ones to grab. Just get them involved. But the other thing about councils as well is, maybe what we should do as well, is share more of our experience as councillors, because actually it's great fun. If anyone's thinking of standard, it's fantastic fun, isn't it? We had a lovely meeting on Thursday, didn't we? Fighting the Tories in the council chamber. It's such good fun.
The people who we haven't met yet, how do we get to them? How do you advertise your drop-ins? So wider net.
So we have a social media team that do kind of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So we obviously advertise through there. We do kind of send out emails, which obviously go to our kind of members and supporters. So we've got a group there. But it's if you haven't got that kind of mechanism, it does become more difficult. But maybe the starting point though is door knocking, because what you perhaps need what we had in East Herts was a very good core group. There's a core group of about 15 people when I joined or whatever, and if you haven't got that core group, then you don't necessarily have the ability to expand. So in order to get that core group, you perhaps need to knock on some doors and find some kind of like-minded people, and hopefully some of them will be enthusiastic enough to join.
But you're talking about a core group for 11 wards. I mean, we got 1 ward or 2 wards we're bothered about, so I don't know how you do that, really.
I suppose it's kind of like economies of scale, isn't it? Because by having a big ward and a big core group, we only had Ben writing literature, for all the wards. So and most of it is kind of transferable from one to another. So just because we expanded, it doesn't make it 15 times harder. It just becomes that's twice as hard. You know, there was a running joke about Alex, actually, wasn't there, in the campaign, because whenever somebody came along that we'd not met before, we used to have this kind of like sweepstake on how long it would take them to ask them if they'd be a candidate for us. And normally that kind of ranged between 1 minute and 5 minutes. She was that persistent, yeah. So, oh, you're green, are you? Oh, do you want to stand? It literally was like that. So she was, you know, kind of always on at people to stand. And yeah, you just do have to nag people and hope. I think there's a thing, isn't there, that you have to ask people something like 10 times before they stand as a candidate. So yeah, keep asking.
It was a really effective sales funnel as well. So Alex does the initial approach, about that. Then, well, I'll refer you on to my colleague who's already a candidate, and he'll give the sales
Exactly.
reviews.
Yeah, Ben was very good at telling us all that it'd only be about 2 hours a month. Never trust that man. But just down to the answers to think about how to get the volunteers. I mean, I think there's no one way. I think what we did in his heart was do lots of different ways. And so we did the phone calls to our members. We picked people up from door knocking. We also run 1 or 2 kind of events which we've used to kind of collect volunteers. So we've done an eco fair for the last 2 years, which are more organised in 2022, where basically we hired a Hartford Corn Exchange and we invited people to kind of sell their stuff in stalls, and effectively the traders paid the the hall, and then we could use that to try and find new people who can support us. So we did that. And we did another event in Ware where it was to do with new development, and we just did a kind of a public event to inform kind of residents what's happening with the new development, and people came along from that. But probably the biggest single way we've got volunteers is door knocking. So knocking on people's doors, finding out that they support the Green Party, and then the automatic question when you find that out is, would you like to volunteer for us? And you'd be amazed at how many say yes. I reckon it's about 1 in 10. So if we did the exercise, I think when we first did that exercise, we went back to Ware, having done door knocking over the summer, and we had 133 people on our list that said they supported us. We thought, go back and knock on all that doors. A lot of those weren't in, but we did do the exercise, and I think we got 15 volunteers out of 133, so it's about 1 in 9. So your leafleters aren't necessarily members. I started leafleting because I wanted to, because I had a desk job and I wanted to do some exercise. People have different motivations. It's not necessarily all about politics.